Well, and it's happened every time that they haven't called it soon enough. Yeah. Yeah. The penultimate round of the third heats, brought to you by Rapid Mix and also Remo Racing Army Engines. The grid for this one, James Snaith and Thomas Patching to start on the front row, Riley George and Jensen Telescovy on the second, Angus Hall and Jasper Frith on the third row, Brocklin Parker and Georgia Morgan, Imran Ali and Lachlan Cutting to start off the fifth row, Hollis and Campbell to start from row number 6, Newton and Soteropoulos from the seventh, Fewens driving cart 270, a tribute to his grandfather, and McEachran to start off the 8th row. Oscar Maloney and Brendan Rees to start from the 9th and final row. Start is nice. They go into one. Snaith, George is in the mix as well. Patching or Hall very wide there as they come down the hill. The recipe for action down that hill. Once you get one having a wobble after they've hit that S's, it's a recipe for disaster. But it's going to be Snaith who's your leader, Patching and then George Telescovy. Here comes Brocklin Parker. So Parker, after that tough race on the slicks in the rain, he's trying to make some ground back up. Look for the crisscross on the exit. Oh, a bit of a touch there. So Parker gets through with a little bit of help there from Angus Hall. Oh, there's some action to be had at the tail end of the field as they get claws and all into it. But out front, though, it's Snaith who leads Riley George now, who's got by Patching up to position number 2. So Snaith, George, Patching, Telescovy, Parker, Hall. Look at them forming a line there behind Telescovy. Bit further back, Maloney trying to do some moves. Back in his familiar cart, number 10, slips by Morgan. So George now, oh, a late move down the bottom there from Riley George to take the lead. That was very nice. So Riley George now is your leader in Ka3 Senior Light. Snaith in second, Patching. Here comes Brocklin Parker up the inside of Telescovy. Gets a crisscross there. Going to hold him pretty tight, but enough done there. Look for a crisscross again on the exit. A little bit too much steering action on the exit for Telescovy. Cancelled his run out. We've got a couple locked together on the infield. That's Georgia Morgan and also McEachran. So a couple of the girls having a bit of a skirmish on the infield. So it's Riley George is your leader. Snaith sits in position number 2. Oh, here comes Patching on Snaith. This is going to buy Riley George a little bit of extra time. As now Patching assumes position number 2. So it's George, Patching, Snaith, Brocklin Parker with some work to do. Telescovy, Hall, Cutting, Frith, and then Hollis. Behind Hollis is Imran Ali, who sits in the bottom end of the top 10. So definitely Riley George, the man to beat at the moment in this one. Looking comfortable in the little battle between Patching and also Snaith. Just bought him a little bit of margin, but he's got to keep going with it. So it's George, Patching, Snaith as they go down the hill. Parker, Telescovy, Hall. So Parker fastest lap of the race last time by a 34.013. So Brocklin Parker's got a bit to work with there in the 46. He sits in position number 4. Behind him is Telescovy or Hall. Still trying to fight back from that earlier qualifying session. Next car through is Cutting, Frith, Hollis. Ali batting with Campbell, Maloney, Newton, Soteropoulos, McEachran and Morgan. So Patching starts to give chase. Another fastest lap there for Brocklin Parker, a 33.974. First driver sub 34 seconds is Brocklin Parker. But it's going to take a bit of a upheaval for him to get into those top three positions. As now Hall and Telescovy. Oh, and in buys Cutting on the infield. They're locked together. Look at the tyre smoke if you don't mind. So Telescovy sneaks by in the end. It's nearly 3 wide as they come up the main straight. Hollis is in there too. Cutting and Frith. Another good battle between Campbell and also Ali. Maloney's got clear track, but still out front. It's Riley George who leads. He's going to see 2 laps remaining here in heat number 3 of the Ka3 Senior Light. Brought to you by Rapid Mix, Remo Racing and Iami Engines. And they're putting on a show with a bit of dry track. Oh, 3 wide. Here we go down into for the minor positions. 3 wide between Frith, Hollis and also Cutting. Bit of a character reference from Cutting on Andrew Hollis. But still Riley George. He's going to see the last lap ball. But to tell you what, Thomas Patching is throwing the kitchen sink at him. As Parker squeezes by Snaith. A little bit of an awkward move, but it's done. So Brocklin Parker up into position number 3. Continues to set fastest laps. The last lap begins here for Riley George. Patching and then Parker. Snaith, Hall, Telescovy, Frith. Then you got Hollis, Campbell and Ali. Oh, Cutting's parked up. He is parked up at the last turn, so he is OUT in this one. So tough luck there for Lachlan Cutting. As Riley George comes through the right-hander on the infield. He's got 1 corner to negotiate. He's got enough that he can just go in there comfortably. But for Rapid Mix, Remo Racing and iArmy, it's Riley George who wins heat number 3. Thomas Patching home in second. Parker was a jet. Another sub 34 second lap. That last one for Parker. Snaith, Hall, Telescovy, Frith, Hollis, Campbell and Ali was your 10. That one brought to you by Rapid Mix, Remo Racing and iArmy Engines. Just the Cadet 12s to come in heat 3, and then we're going to start giving away the silverware.